This is the conclusion. This is the last video that I'm going to be posting in this thing. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed all of this as it's been going along. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and read the introduction and the very last story. I had another story following that speaker story. It was there, it was formatted, and it was ready to go, and then I read it again. That last story there, it wasn't even remotely funny, and I'm quite sure that it was definitely not the best place to end this, so I wiped it away and I left the speaker story as the closer. That one is funny, and it totally makes fun of somebody that totally deserves to be made fun of. That is a totally fake story about a totally fake person. Totally. I think there's still one last story to post. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write one more story to finish this. I'm going to write that, I'm going to publish it, and then that will be the final story. And with that, I cracked open the control panel for the blog that I used to write all of this stuff to begin with, and I wrote one more story and published it, and then I added it to this book. That was on February 6th, 2025. That is totally fake news here. The book that I've been reading from for all this time. If you're a fan of my writing, then today is your lucky day. Again, I had so much fun compiling my last book that I decided to do it a second time, and I have chosen some 60 stories from this site, compiled them into a single volume titled Totally Fake News Here, a collection of satirical news articles. Oh, I messed up the name of my own book. Totally Fake News Here, a collection of satirical news stories. Yeah, that's what it's called. If you're reading this for the first time, the actual book, and not off the website, that means that I have indeed finished this work necessary for the release of this book. I have decided that the final story of the book should be written right in the actual site and then formatted into a book as I finalize the text. As it's such, now this entry exists. To you, dear reader, I hope that you have enjoyed this selection of fake news stories. I hope you got all the references. I hope the stories reminded you of points in time in which they were written, because they were almost always associated with some actual news going on in the world. More than anything, I hope you have been entertained. The original site is still there, and will be for as long as I remember to keep renewing the domain. All the stories there were copied directly from there with very little editing, but this is not the entire site. There were many stories there that were, more commentary than comical, and those stories were not funny, if I'm being honest. As I was going through the list, I kind of got uncomfortable with some of the rants that I published there. So yeah, those stories were purposely omitted. That is not what I wanted this volume to be. My intention was to pull out what I considered the best parts of that site and share them with people that prefer a book to the internet. If you so much as smiled a few times while reading this, then I feel like I've accomplished my mission. This concludes my second book. That is a sentence I never thought I would write in any manner of seriousness, but here we are. Thank you for reading. Share this story, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell anybody that you think might listen. In the meantime, I have to put some thought into my third book. I hope you've enjoyed.